I'm Lisa. Welcome to my YouTube channel. So today's video is a little bit different. It's not really in a vlog style, although I think my last few videos haven't been in a vlog style either, but I wanted to talk a little bit about manifesting and just like goal setting and hoping for the future. So I have my notes written down because I wanted this video to be a bit more structured. Like I didn't want to ramble on like I normally do. I kind of wanted to really write down things I want to say and how to say it. So I have my iPad here and I jotted down all the notes that I want to talk about. So in my Notion, all my notes. So today's video is mainly focused around manifesting just because I've been watching a lot of YouTube videos on people manifesting and kind of how they grew their channel, obviously with a lot of hard work, learning a lot of new skills, but also just through the use of manifesting as well and like setting really detailed goals for their future. So I wrote down basically what I wanted in my future and my goals and kind of how I plan to manifest that. I am showing, I guess, the beginning stages and what I'm doing to manifest, not like the end product like their videos were. Their videos were like, this is what I did X number of years ago and this is where I am now. My videos were like, this is the start of my journey. This is where we can come together, we can grow together and learn how to manifest together what doesn't work and what does work kind of thing. What I wanted for this video was just kind of to show you guys the steps that I took to create a vision board, to even write down my goals for the future and what I wanted to manifest into my life, and a gratitude journal. So those are kind of like the three things I'll be talking about today. First thing, so a big reason why I wanted to do all this was because of how big manifesting has been for me in my past. And obviously I wasn't manifesting towards like YouTube or like full-time jobs, but more like getting a good co-op and finding a really amazing partner to be in my life, which I have now. So in some ways, this is a video where I am talking about how I did that and how it worked, but we're also now manifesting more for more things in the future. A starting point for me was the movie The Secret, and it's also a book, and it's kind of where people talked about how manifesting played a huge role in their lives and how they were able to get themselves in these less than ideal conditions to like stellar conditions, like way past your average. They were extremely successful or had gotten into really good health, like all these amazing things, and they talked about it there. And at the time when I came across this, I was going through a breakup and I really wanted to get myself in the mindset of, okay, you know what, this person wasn't right for me, but I'm trying to move towards the person who is right for me. So how can I get there? And manifesting was a huge thing for me, and it took a couple of years of manifesting for the right person to come into my life, and then they finally did, and we have been together for a year now. So fingers crossed, I keep manifesting for good things and more good things keep coming my way. So that was like kind of what got me started on this path, and I watched a lot more videos around that time and then kind of fell off of it because I was kind of dealing with a lot of mental health issues. And then now I'm kind of at the point again where like, okay, my mental health is at a good point and I want to figure out kind of how can I now excel and do more with my future and all these things that I always wanted to do but didn't really have a direction for, or wasn't sure like the steps to take. That's kind of how I got to this point of wanting to create this vision board again and having a way to continually manifest and be positive in my life, if not for those goals, just to have a better mood and to feel better in my own life. So the first thing that I saw in a lot of videos, because I watched a couple more recently just to see if things have changed in terms of how to do it. So the first thing that everybody really says is to write down what you want, but write it in present tense. So instead of saying like,
I want to be wherever in the future,
you say I am successful, and obviously with a little bit more detail, but like you word it in a way where it's like you have it present tense and you're already living it. So that was the first thing that I did. So basically in my good notes, I wrote down everything. I wrote down quite a few bullet points in a lot of detail specifying exactly what I wanted. So like I want to be a successful YouTuber. So I wrote, I am a successful YouTuber. I hope that is how it works. That is the gist of kind of what I got. And obviously to specify numbers with it and very detailed of like exactly what you want, but that was like the gist of mine, how much money I wanted to make, what my relationship looked like, friends, and all that stuff. And I wrote it down exactly what I wanted in the future, but in present tense. So that was the first thing that I did. And then the next thing was I kind of wrote like a little paragraph of like what my perfect day would look like. I would wake up and I would feel this way and I'd be surrounded by these things. And as the day progressed, these things happen or these people were in my life, that kind of thing. And I kind of just wrote down not a super long paragraph, but just trying to outline like, okay, how would I feel in this situation? Because from what I understand, you need to feel how you would feel when you have those things in the present to attract those things into your life. And for a lot of people who don't believe in manifesting, like that's perfectly fine. We all have our own beliefs. This is, I guess, another way to look at it, like goal setting, like your New Year's resolutions, except obviously it is August. And I guess these are New Year's resolutions that I didn't have for the beginning of the year because I didn't know I wanted to do any of this yet. So I'm rewriting them. So this could also be seen as just like goal setting or like planning for the rest of the year, that kind of concept. And then I wrote down the reasons why I wanted to do this. Like, why are these goals so important to me? Are they like things that are really sustainable? Are they things that like I can see myself obtaining? And I wrote down like why I want this, whether it be like financial freedom, creative freedom. So I wrote all that down. And that was basically the first step of kind of how I created this vision board, was writing down in detail, like planning ahead, basically like, okay, these are the things that I want. And this is how I was basically able to put it together because I had already planned it out. So for this second part, I'm gonna sit more over here, and on this side, I'm gonna have basically the screen of the steps that I took. But basically I started off just with Pinterest, and I just went and searched like keywords of the things that I wanted. So if it was, let's just say one of my goals was to make X number of dollars in a year, then I searched money, just money. And I put like pictures that were representative of those detailed bullet points I had in my notes to represent that, so that when I look at it, it's just like a reminder basically of like everything that I want to achieve. So I searched all the photos that I wanted that related to my bullet points, and then I saved them, and then I added them all to Canva. So this part I only showed, I believe, me making it in like wallpaper, like into my desktop wallpaper, but I essentially did it for my iPad. I did it for my phone wallpaper as well. So all I did was I chose the dimensions of my phone or my iPad or the screen size of my computer, and I had an empty canvas, and I put those pictures onto the canvas and kind of moved it around in a way that looked aesthetic to me or pleasing to the eye, in a way that I could see all the photos so that I could be reminded of each individual goal that I had set, so that I could see everything when I took a glance right at it. So not too many pictures were like super hidden or covered or like really blocked by another picture, although some of them are smaller than others, but they're all laid out in such a way so that I have this reminder every single day when I look at my phone or my iPad or my computer that, okay, these are the goals, I'm trying to reinforce it, and then trying to think positively towards them. So that's basically what I did. Everything towards making this vision board was basically like pre-planning and then putting it all together using Pinterest and Canva. You can use any, I think, software that allows you to put photos together, any type of collage, and you can use any search engine to find your photos, Google Photos, whatever. I think a big reason why this works is because you can visualize what your future can look like a bit more effectively, because you can see related photos, or even you can have photos of people already in those situations. So like one of the creators I put was like Laura DIY, because she has inspired me since I started watching YouTube, and it would be really amazing to be as successful as she is. And putting things that you want to maintain in your life or like further develop in your life. So like I have a picture of me and Adam to like further our relationship moving forward. So that kind of stuff, just to visualize it, helps a lot in terms of making some of these things actually happen. Okay, so I moved location, so I hope that the quality isn't worse just because the lighting might be worse. Let me see. Okay, this might help. Yeah, that might be better. Anyways, so we're kind of on to the third part now. So that was kind of it. I'll talk at the end of like where I learned all these things or like why I find it important in the process and why I chose these things as opposed to like other methods. So that was like putting together the vision board. And so the next thing I wanted to talk about is a gratitude journal. So I'll have that popped up here for like pretty briefly. My gratitude journal is very short because I haven't actually like made a full journal, but essentially what the gratitude journal is you put down everything that you're grateful for in the moment. So like things that you already have that you're really grateful for. The idea is that being in a state of appreciation will allow you to appreciate the things that will come your way as you manifest more things or as you achieve more goals. It'll give you the capacity to be appreciative of those things and not take the things you have currently for granted. So in my gratitude journal, basically what I have is just like writing 3 things every single day that I'm grateful for. There's many other different ways of going about it. I think one of the more common ways is it's like a whole list of like what you're grateful for, the things that made you happy today, and it goes like much more in depth of like how you're feeling and all the positive feelings that you felt today. I didn't want to make it too in depth just because I didn't know if it would become overwhelming of a task, just because I feel like I'm taking on a lot of things right now, and then if for whatever reason I'm not on my meds a certain day, like it might be a little bit difficult for me to keep up with like all these things that are kind of going on. So I was hoping if I can keep it as simple as possible, I can still manifest like everybody else and have my dreams and my goals come true by keeping it simplistic and minimalist. I guess the way I see it is that you can be grateful even without writing it down. You could very easily just sit and think to yourself. It doesn't have to necessarily be written down. I just figured if I have it written down and I see it, I can feel it more effectively because I'm much more of a visual person. So seeing these things helps me. I know for a lot of people, especially I think if you're auditory, saying a lot of these things out loud will help you feel more grateful. It'll help your manifestations come true if you're like repeating it before bed or a certain number of times in the morning. But that's kind of the idea. So that's kind of all the steps that I took to manifest the things that I want. I really am focusing on like the more visual side of things. So like a vision board, the gratitude journal, and writing everything down. Even like when I was writing the things I wanted to manifest, I wrote everything down in my iPad, but there are definitely many, many different ways. So I've seen a couple of them, like the 3-6-9 method of like, you write it down 3 times and you write it again 6 times and then 9 times like throughout the day kind of thing. I didn't look too in depth in that, so I might be wrong. And there's just like a bunch of other different methods that people have said have worked really well for them. I don't even know. I think the possibilities are endless in terms of the methodology that you're going to use. But the way that I did it, I tried to do it as simple as possible, easy to follow if you're going to try this out for yourself. And for me, it's just, I think what will end up being the most effective because I can do these things pretty quickly and it only takes a little bit amount of time, and then the rest of it is just being reminded of it, being grateful for the things that I have, and just being in a state where I feel like I already have these things. And I think that is much more achievable for me because of my short attention span and amongst many other things. It makes it a lot easier for me to take this on top of other things that I'm already taking on. So to show you guys the final product, which I think you'll already see in the second part of the vision board, but here it is on my iPad now. So this is the iPad version that I had made. This is everything. It's very, in my opinion, very aesthetic, very easy to look at, and you can kind of see like everything that I'm trying to accomplish right when you look at it. Nothing's like too covered. So this really is kind of the goals that I'm going for. And this is definitely something that I didn't believe in when I first heard about it, but then I started to think about it and start to see it happen in my own life. I grew up very much with the mindset that like nothing bad would happen to me and that only good things would happen. And then I would like to say I grew up pretty happy and a lot of my goals were achieved in childhood and in, I guess, teenagehood. And then now that I'm older, obviously things are a little bit different. I did go through some mental health struggles, but I think manifesting can still help a lot. It won't fix those things necessarily or take any of that away, but I think it's a good way to keep me on track for my goals and looking forward to something for my future. This is a little side note, but Darius has his own little pillow bed. Basically, we were gonna get him another bed, but then we had these spare pillows and we were like, okay, if he uses these spare pillows, then we'll just give it to him, and he's using it. So anyways, that's just about it. Honestly, I've talked about everything that I wanted to talk about. I hope I'm not missing any details. I'm obviously not an expert either. I just have watched a couple of videos on it and have tried it a couple times for like smaller things, or actually big things too, like my relationship, and they've worked out perfectly. So I really wanted to use the rest of this year to try to manifest for these goals of mine, because it'd be nice to have a full-time job before the end of the year, for a lot of these goals to come true before the end of the year. And if not, then creating New Year's resolutions in January after some progress has been made for these goals, so I can continue to build off of these in the new year. Because I don't always believe that you need like a milestone to necessarily start. I used to have that mindset where I would get stuck. I'm like, okay, no, I'll start at the first of the next month, and then it kept pushing and pushing. I would even wait for the new year before I did some stuff, and I was just tired of living my life trying to wait for the next milestone instead. So I figured, why not on a random August, it's August 21st, a random day, just to start manifesting and seeing if I can make some of these goals and these dreams of mine essentially come true. So if anybody has any questions, I would love if you left comments about it or ask me questions in the comments. And if anyone actually has any tips or advice or things that have worked for them, or even sharing your story, I would love to hear about that as well, just to give me more inspiration in this journey of mine, but also to know how I can make it more effective. But thank you guys so much for watching. It means so much if you made it to this point. It'd mean a lot if you subscribe and like this video, and I will see you in the next one.